Like, it's not a mystery why we hit the end of the year and we're just in full blown, like, depletion mode because huge demands on our energy and not enough fuel in the tank equals burnout. And I'm here to change that for you this year. So this is your Thrival Guide. How do we actually thrive through the season in a way that's like realistic, right? We're not glossing over the reality of what most of us are holding. We're actually increasing capacity to match it. What is true, what is at the core of this conversation is that you deserve to be at your full aliveness, your full capacity, your full joy throughout this season. Hey, mama, welcome back to the Thrive Mama podcast. I'm Martina, certified nutrition consultant and holistic health coach, and a mama of two, and I'm so glad you're here. I am here to help busy moms unlock their energy, balance their hormones, and break out of burnout using nutrition as the foundation. So on this podcast, we will dive into actionable strategies on nutrition, nervous system healing, and aligning with your cycles, with a healthy dose of relatable motherhood thrown in, all designed to help you move past surviving to actually thrive in motherhood. Let's do this. Listen, Mama, this episode was originally named Your Holiday Survival Guide. And as I was creating the outline for it, I realized that ain't good enough. That ain't good enough. We are done just surviving. And if you are here at the Thrive Mama podcast, then you're ready to do more than survive. So this is not your survival guide. This is your Thrival guide. Yeah, this is your Thrival guide for the holiday season. So at the time of recording this, we are just past Thanksgiving week and entering December full force. And I swear the older my children get, the more chaotic the holidays feel. And every single year, I am on a mission to maintain my energy and my peace and my intentionality through the chaos. So we can like transmute the chaos into excitement and joy, which is still fast-paced and energized, but like less overwhelming, right? So that is the goal. Now, this is a two-part episode because today we're going to dive into the food and the body nourishment, the like physical capacity that we need to really thrive through the holidays. Next week, we're going to be diving into part two, which is our energy, which is our nervous system, our boundaries, our rhythms, and how all of that can really contribute to our thriving or to just hanging on for dear life. Because I think it's really common for a lot of women, especially moms, to start making the holiday season about everyone else and putting our own needs even further down the list than usual and really like losing the magic in the process. You know, there's so much pressure and activity and external demands on our energy that it can be really challenging to feel the magic of the season for ourselves. But what I really know is true is that moms are like the sun of the family. It's like everything else is orbiting around you, and your energy state is rippling out to impact everybody else. So you putting your needs way further down the list to create the magic and experiences and do all of the things for everyone else is actually draining the magic for everyone. But the more alive and connected you are throughout this entire season, the more magic can be there for everybody involved. And what's really important to realize is that these busy seasons of life is when this matters the most. Okay, however you and your family celebrate the holidays or don't, there is no getting around the fact that this is an accelerated time of year. Time moves really fast. There is so much on our plates, so much demanding of our energy. And this is the time that most of us start cutting corners, right? We start getting out of our daily routines and our wellness habits, and we start like going for convenience over all else. And there are ways to do that, which we're going to talk about. But the problem comes when we cut corners with the things that are actually giving us the capacity to do the rest of the things. You feel me? Like the things that give us energy for high capacity seasons are the things that we tend to give up first. And I'm here to flip that for us, okay? We need to give up the things that are draining our energy, but hold on to the things that give us energy, like food, like movement, like sleep, right? Like these are the things we're protecting no matter what. Because in a high energy season, we need even higher capacity. This is when it matters the most. And I've been feeling out like in my membership group and with my clients and with my friends, like, how are we feeling? How are we feeling this year going into the holidays? Because I really wanted to get a pulse on like how are we coping? Are we thriving out there? Are we loving this season? Are we in survival mode? And what I hear over and over is like, I'm so tired. I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so tired. The to-do list is so long. And a lot of things on the to-do list are fun, you know? There's a lot of joy, but it's also a lot. A lot. And almost every mom I've talked to has been like, I am really tired and it's only December 2nd. Like, I'm so overwhelmed with how to cram it all into the next 3 weeks, the next 4 weeks. Like, it's just too much. And there's a lot of reasons that I feel like this is a normal pattern for so many of us to hit the end of the year and just crash out. One really important reason is lack of seasonal alignment. And I'm not going to dive deep into that today because I just did a whole episode like 39, I believe, was all about circadian strategies for winter because this is a time of year where we're actually craving more slowness, more space, more rest. And December is like the opposite of all of that. So that's one of the gaps, right? That's one of the like dissonant threads. Some other things happening, though, are the daily rhythms that most of us find ourselves in throughout this month leads to wild blood sugar swings, a huge demand on our body, on our liver, on our digestion. Our nervous system is fried. We're way out of routine, so we're not like doing the things that normally keep us tethered. We have less sleep, we have less nourishment, we have more alcohol and sugar and processed foods, which also means there's less space for all that nourishment. Like, it's not a mystery why we hit the end of the year and we're just in full blown like depletion mode because huge demands on our energy and not enough fuel in the tank equals burnout. And I'm here to change that for you this year. So this is your thrival guide. How do we actually thrive through the season in a way that's like realistic, right? We're not glossing over the reality of what most of us are holding. We're actually increasing capacity to match it. One thing I want to say really clearly before we dive in is this is not about being good. This is not about like, I'm going to be so good this season. I'm going to like really stay consistent this season, right? Like, I'm not going to have the cheat days. That's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing. If you've been around for a minute, you know, that's not what we're doing here. There is no morality around your nourishment, right? It's not good or bad. What is true, what is at the core of this conversation, is that you deserve to be at your full aliveness, your full capacity, your full joy throughout this season. And that doesn't mean that you have to like quote unquote stay on your diet or like stay consistent. That's not it. What is it is what do I need to be in my full aliveness throughout the season? And I'm going to share with you some of what I think you need, and you can continue to be in reflection for yourself about like, what do I need to be fully alive this season and not end the year in a total burnout? So let's dive into some food and nourishment and body supports, okay? We're going to get really specific in this episode. This is like really tangible, practical things that you can implement like today. So if you don't have somewhere to like write down some notes, capture some takeaways, you might want it because we're going to be going through a lot of really practical action items that you can integrate in to start thriving through the holidays. So number one, breakfast. Breakfast, my love. This is your cornerstone, okay, of every day, of every week, no matter what. Christmas morning, at night after staying out all night, I don't care. We're doing breakfast, all right? We're doing breakfast and we're doing it in a balanced way. If we skim over breakfast, if we go straight to coffee, if we have the simple carbohydrates or high sugar breakfast, if we are going for convenience or putting it off, we are setting ourselves up for a day of crazy blood sugar swings, of reactivity in our body, of low energy and energy crashes, of irritability, of like so much comes out of how are we fueling ourselves in the first couple of hours because it sets the blood sugar baseline for your entire day ahead. So, my framework that I teach my clients is as you're making your breakfast plate, you are adding protein plus 2 servings of fruits and vegetables. Okay, that's the foundation. Now, when I say protein, I mean protein, like 25 to 30 grams is a good range to aim for. Okay, so we're not having like 2 eggs and calling it good. That'll get you like 12 grams, which is something. But we need close to 30 grams of protein at breakfast. So 2 eggs is not cutting it, babe. And if you need breakfast ideas, if you're feeling like at a loss of what 30 grams of protein really looks like, there is a link to my free breakfast guide below this episode. And you can grab tons of recipes and breakfast combinations that you can dive into and really help spark some ideas. But 30 grams of protein plus 2 servings of fruits and vegetables, okay? Not a sprinkling of blueberries on top of your yogurt, like 2 servings of fruits and vegetables. This is giving us protein and fiber to really start our energy strong for the day and to keep our blood sugar balanced for hours to come. Now, the other key components of a balanced, nourishing breakfast, we're eating it within 1 to 2 hours of waking up, and we are hydrating with, before, after, like first thing in the morning, okay? We're not jumping straight to coffee. We're not filling up our water bottle at noon for the first time. We are hydrating early in the morning. Winter dehydration is like sneaky, you know? It really is. Most of us in the colder weather, we don't like have as many thirst signals. We just kind of forget about water. But the problem is most of our homes are heated. We have central heat that is drying out our air in an incredible rate. So the air is super dry. We're losing all this moisture through talking, through our skin, and we actually like need just as much hydration in the winter as we do in the summer. So front load it. Drink water before breakfast, with breakfast, after breakfast. Those are your breakfast foundations, okay? Protein, fruit and veg, 1 to 2 hours of waking up. Hydrate, please, before coffee, before you get your day really going. Now, one of the other pieces of your Thrival guide that is connected to this is electrolytes, minerals, boosting our minerals. So here's the thing about minerals. You can scroll back and find entire episodes devoted to just minerals because they are foundational in our energy. They're foundational in our cellular process that our body uses to make ATP, which is cellular energy. It's how the body functions, okay? So we need minerals. Minerals are depleted very quickly when we are in cycles of stress, when we are under eating, or simply through living in the 21st century where our soil quality is been decreasing for generations and there's less minerals in our food. Like mineral depletion is a really common gap and it is leaving us brain foggy and low energy, fatigued no matter how much we sleep, anxious. Like it's so, so important. And in this season, things like alcohol and sugar and stress are more prevalent than usual, which are depleting our minerals. So we are boosting minerals every day, really all the time, but especially during the holiday season. A couple of my favorite ways to do this. When we do our morning hydration, you can add fresh lemon into your water. Make the water like room temp or warm, and then add a sprinkle of sea salt. So my ratios are I do 1 whole lemon in about 32 ounces. I fill a mason jar of slightly warm water. And then I do a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt. So all of that together is a really hydrating, mineral-rich drink that you can use to like infuse your cells first thing in the morning with the energy that they need. I also love sipping on celery juice in the morning for deep mineral hydration, right? Celery juice is not some like elixir that's going to create world peace the way social media wants it to be, but it is deeply hydrating and full of minerals. So like why not throw some celery juice in there? But you can also get electrolyte and mineral supplements that you mix into your water and drink throughout the day. You can do this with powders that have fun flavors. You can do this with mineral drops. I'm going to leave my electrolyte guide below this video as well. So grab yourself the breakfast guide, grab yourself the mineral guide, and really get devoted to balanced breakfast and hydration with minerals, hydration with electrolytes every day. Now that alone is going to transform your energy, really starting our day fueled and hydrating enough and with minerals throughout the day. I'm going to talk you through a few other foundations of energy through the holiday season, including some energy boosts, some like supplements and herbs and like little things you can do for the days when you're really dragging, but like the day ain't done. And how can we boost ourselves? Okay, we're going to talk about it. So let's talk first about how we navigate all of the like gatherings, all right? The events that center around maybe our food, the parties, the family dinners. Like there's all, especially in the holiday season, it feels like food is this central gathering point for so many of our traditions and activities. And let me be really clear, food is so much more than just like calories, right? Food is culture and tradition and joy, and it is an important piece of all of that. And we get to honor what our body actually needs by creating a balance between the tradition and maybe the joy that this particular food brings, and how can we balance it to stay steady and vibrant in our bodies. So it's not all or nothing. And we are not restricting the things that we look forward to and that we love. We are simply being mindful about what's worth it and what's not, and then adding on what else we need. Those are really the two steps. Be mindful about what's worth it, and then add on what else you need. So, when I talk about worth it, this is a process I take my clients through where we really get intentional about maybe the foods that we know aren't as nourishing for us, and really get intentional in that moment. Is this worth it? Like, do I really want this? Or is this just like a habit that we do at every holiday party? Or like, how is this going to impact my energy tomorrow? You know, is this going to trigger a migraine? Is this going to trigger a breakout? Is this going to leave me bloated? Like, what are the potential consequences of this? Not from a good and bad perspective, just informed decision making, okay? And then we're asking ourselves, like, with all of that in mind, do I actually want it? And what are the possible consequences for my body? Then we ask, does this feel worth it? And sometimes the answer is heck yes, this feels worth it. Amazing. Enjoy. And then you know, even if you don't feel amazing a couple hours later, you made an intentional decision that that was still worth it. Incredible. That's why it's so great to be an adult, right? We can like decide, we can choose. Now, the key is to stay intentional with that process so we're not just running on default on autopilot, and to add what else we need. Okay? Usually that is some kind of balancing protein and some kind of balancing like vegetable, fruit, hydration, something to balance out the things we're enjoying in this season of the year. One thing I do is if we have a gathering or event, I will eat a high protein, high veggie snack like an hour, half an hour before we go. Even if I know there's going to be food there. Whatever food is there will be a nice bonus on what I've already eaten. But that way I know my blood sugar's stable. I know I've gotten the nourishment in first. And then whatever feels worth it is like a nice add-on to the foundation I set before I leave the house. So really think about, is there going to be food at this event, at this gathering tradition, that is going to give me what I need? And if not, how can I get what I need? Can I bring it with me in my bag? Can I like throw an apple and a meat stick in my bag, right? Can I bring my own electrolyte water? Can I eat a small meal before I go over to the in-laws? Like, what can we do to enjoy what's there and get what we need? That's really the key so that we don't begin these sort of spirals of blood sugar crashes and digestive backup. Like, we know it all ripples out. It's not just like, oh, an isolated thing. Our body is always accumulating and processing, and we want to hold balance in that system as much as we can. So we're enjoying what's worth it. Enjoy the hell out of it and adding the other things we need. Okay, that is the key. Okay, before we get to our energy boosts, I really want to touch on circadian supports. If you listen to episode 39, you know winter is a time of slowing down, of more darkness, more sleep, more quiet. And that is biological. That's not just like nature or energetic. That is in your body. It's in your melatonin balance. It's in your digestive tract. Like, it is in your hormones and your body. And the issue is December, which is the darkest portal of the year, is the opposite of that. Because of cultural constructs around holidays, December has turned into some of the brightest, loudest, busiest, most external time of the whole year. And there are actually ways we can be present in that and enjoy that and protect our biology, protect our circadian rhythm. So, blue light blocking glasses, once the sun goes down, is going to be really helpful to protect our melatonin rise and to lower cortisol and blue light in the body. So get yourself some high quality blue light glasses. Make sure they're orange lens, not just like clear glasses off Amazon, and wear them as soon as the sun goes down, which in December is like 4:45 freaking p.m. So you're wearing it at 4:45 p.m. every day to protect your melatonin production through the evening. That's number one. Number two, circadian support that's going to transform your energy through the holidays. Get your booty outside every day. Do it. Get outside every day. Rain, snow, shine, doesn't matter. Get yourself outside every day in a way that's safe, of course. Like, please be safe. And get sunlight exposure on your eyes. Get fresh air in your lungs. Disconnect from nature is one of the things that leaves us really depleted and fatigued and down through the winter. So really push yourself to bundle up and get outside, take a walk every day throughout December. Okay. It's going to be really important for your energy. And if you want more circadian strategies and like hormonal winter supports, episode 39 is a whole deep dive into that. So you can go back and listen to that. So all of these things I've described so far have been really like foundational preventative, right? We're like really fueling from the ground up with breakfast, with hydration, with minerals, with like balance intake of all these treats at different events, with our circadian biology. So this is all foundational. Now let's talk about how we boost our energy. So like we're down in the thick of it. It's 3 p.m. The day is far from over. There's so much to do. Like, how do we get through this without slipping into total resentment and survival mode? Here's the thing, my love. Energy drinks and coffee are not the answer. And I know you know I was gonna say that. It's just not. In fact, it's adding to the problem long term of suppressing certain hormones that tell us when we're tired, of creating false like stimulation in the body that leaves us even more depleted. It starts a crash cycle. It's not it. It's not it. Neither are like sugar and simple carbs as quick energy. That's not going to be it. And the thing most of us are running on all holiday season is actually just adrenaline. It's like cortisol, you know? It's the stress hormones that keep us alert, but also keep us really activated and wired and like off balance, right? Off center. So that's what we're not doing. We're not doing that. What we are doing is increasing capacity naturally and with nourishment. And there are things we can do to like stimulate it right away. One of my favorites that's really gentle but effective and caffeine free is maca, N-A-C-A, maca. Maca is an adaptogenic herb that helps the body like modulate our stress response. So it actually helps us metabolize stress. And it has been used actually for a long time in athletes who need to boost their stamina. And so it is known to create energy and stamina in the body that really makes a difference throughout the rest of the day that you drink it. So I love keeping maca on hand and mixing it into smoothies and energy balls and oatmeal, like whatever you can every day to get in some maca. It's going to boost your energy. It leaves you feeling pretty like buzzy and light, but without caffeine, which means you still get restful sleep and you don't activate a stress response, which is great. So maca is one. Now matcha is another, not to be confused with maca. Matcha is another. If we are reaching for caffeine throughout these days to like get us through, matcha is going to be your best friend. And if you've been around for a minute, you have heard me talk your ear off about matcha. It is coffee's like much more balanced, nourishing older sister. It really is. Matcha is going to give you the energy boost with mental focus, without the jitters, without the anxiety, without the digestive impact, without the cortisol response. It's much more slowly metabolized and actually contains other amino acids and compounds that make the caffeine really balanced. So if you're needing caffeine to get through the day, matcha is your friend. And then another herb that you can look into that may be appropriate for some of you is rhodiola. Rhodiola is another adaptogenic herb, and rhodiola is known to be pretty energizing and really helps with mental clarity and mental focus, but it has no caffeine in it. Now, because rhodiola is a little bit more stimulating of an herb, most people want to only use it in the first half of the day. But you can take rhodiola every single day, either in a tincture or in a tea or in a powder throughout the holidays, and see how you have more steady energy without having to like reach for the coffee nonstop. And then the last two energy boosts I want to share with you are not food, but are foundations in your toolbox of boosting your energy in the moment. One is cold exposure. And as we explored in our circadian rhythm deep dive episode, cold exposure actually starts a process, thermoneogenesis, that stimulates burning certain fat cells in our body for heat and produces energy in the body. So when we are out in the cold, it is immediately energizing. The body is burning our own fuel source to create energy. So when we're feeling foggy, tired, overwhelmed, stepping outside for like 2 minutes and being in the fresh air and being in the cold can actually biologically shift our energy reserves. And then lastly, some kind of energizing somatic reset or nervous system like movement moment. You can do this with kids around, with family around, turn on a song and just dance your booty off. That is one way to do this. You can also do an intentional like somatic release where you're shaking each part of your body in turn and really allowing the energy to like move. Sometimes our low energy is we're like holding so much that it's heavy in the system, you know? So somatic release and shaking is really letting it go through and out the body, and it activates our own internal energy centers. So cold exposure and somatic release, dancing, shaking, anything like that are also going to be great in your toolbox. So let's land this plane, shall we? Our holiday thrival guide. Here's what we've been through. We talked about what's really causing these holiday crashes. It's not like lack of willpower. It's not that the food is bad and you have to start over in January. It is the perfect storm of external energy demands, blood sugar swings, your fried nervous system, your disrupted routines, sugar and alcohol, less sleep. It's like all of it is just creating more demand in your body. And most of us are not keeping up the reserves we need to handle it, to meet it. So, what we've covered is we don't care about being good or consistent. We care about feeling alive and steady and at full capacity during this really busy season. So, your nutrition pieces of your Thrival Guide are breakfast, balancing breakfast, really fueling your body, hydrating with intention, with minerals, with electrolytes, first thing in the morning and then throughout the day. Really building nourishment buffers in around your events. So, eating before you go, staying hydrated, bringing something with you to balance it out, and then really enjoying the traditions that you love with curiosity about is this food really integral to the tradition, or can I really enjoy and soak up the tradition while still protecting my energy in my body by not eating that thing? And then lastly, we talked about supporting your winter biology, really supporting our circadian rhythm because your biology doesn't care that it's the holidays, right? It just knows that it's winter outside and we're acting like it's not. So it's going to feel way out of whack. So really protecting our melatonin with blue light blockers, getting outside, like sunlight on our eyes every day is all really important. And then for those moments that we really need it, choosing some energy boosts that support you and don't just drain you more. So stepping away from energy drinks and coffee and like sugar and carbs and adrenaline as fuel sources and moving on to some really nourishing pieces like maca, right? And matcha and rhodiola and cold exposure and shaking and dancing. These are the things that can actually shift your energy in the day in a big, big way. Now, there's no need to implement all of this like a checklist, okay? This is a toolbox. So even if you just focused on like two of these things, you will feel a difference in your steadiness and your capacity over the next few weeks, even when there's so much on your plate and demanding your attention. And next week, we are diving even deeper into your Thrival Guide. We're going into your energy, your nervous system, your boundaries, like how to really protect your peace and energy through the holidays without feeling like you need to like recover on a solo retreat by the end of it, because you can be eating all the right things. But if your energy is being drained by everyone outside of you, you are still going to feel depleted and burned out. So this is two pieces of the puzzle. We need both. Today, I'm going to invite you to start with some of these nourishing supports, decide what you're focusing on, and then tune back in next week for part 2. And listen, if you are ready to thrive in 2026, like to really spark yourself back to life from the inside out, Thrive Mama is opening doors at the beginning of January. This is my signature group coaching program. It's 16 weeks of deep dive holistic health, energy, hormone support that really allows us to find a joyful spark in our body and in our life again, so that you can move through 2026 as that is the year of your thriving. Truly, you could be the most alive version of you by this time next year with all of these tools. So we start in January. You can join the waitlist in the description below so you can get first access and get a waitlist discount. And I'm really excited to open those doors and share even more with you about all of that. So my love, if you found this episode helpful, please make sure that you share with your mama besties. Leave me a comment. Let me know your big takeaways. And if you feel called, drop us a few stars. Give us a rating. That really helps to support this podcast and get it into the ears of even more listeners. It makes such a big difference on these platforms for all of this engagement. So thank you for being here. Thank you for connecting in, and we will see you next week for part 2. Until we meet again, take beautiful care of yourself.